last way longer than that. So I don't know what other people did, and I don't know how big their lots are, and I don't know what the other issues are, but I really can't believe where you're always trying to fix something that isn't broken. And so I find that, the other concept when you're talking about not everybody might want it, only some people might want it, that's how those two water districts were formed, one in Shannon and one in EPC. They have non-contiguous boundaries, so there's mixed in people that didn't want to be part of their group and people that didn't want to be part of their group. And now they're trying to impose rules on the people that didn't want to be part of their group because they're mixed in with them. This will be the same kind of a thing. Oh, well, you should have got in with these people. And I don't think that certain people understand that $108 is not going to be $208 next year and $308 the next year after that and so on and so forth. And then who's going to fix anything whether they have tree roots or something that gets in their lateral that goes to the other project. So I think that if you have your own water and you have your own sewer and you don't have as many problems, you have your own driveway, all the things that are done by the public are the things that are screwed up. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Any other public comment? Move on to the next item. Contract with MBS Land Surveys and Associated Budget Adjustments, Resolution 2025-05.
So this item is being brought today to fund a couple different surveys that need to be done. First one is a survey of the property north of the wastewater treatment plant. Property currently, it's approximately 9 acres north of the wastewater treatment plant. In order to purchase either an easement or site or purchase the property to site the monitoring well to comply with our current wastewater treatment plant general order permit. So the general order permit requires that we have 3 different monitoring wells spread out evenly. Unfortunately, due to the layout of the wastewater treatment plant, even with the property that we own just north of us, the monitoring well that needs to be even farther north is no longer on our property and would need to be on the property north of that. So in order to move forward with that, either acquiring an easement or acquiring the property, we need to survey the property to get a legal description to negotiate with the property owner for actual size of the easement and or property to be purchased. So that's one part. The second part is to survey the sanitary sewer manholes within the district, both the rim, which is the street level, and the invert, which is the very bottom of the pipe, the sewer pipe going through the manhole. The purpose of this is to facilitate our sewer model update to get more accurate information about where the sewer lines are, the slope on the sewer lines, to help facilitate the replacement of sewer lines that were identified in the sewer lining and manhole rehabilitation program, or project rather, which identified several sections that need to be redone. Because basically they're flowing the wrong way. So between the 2 projects, it's a total of $29,100 for one project and $7,600, or maximum $7,600 for the other project, as identified in the financial impact. The survey of the parcel north of the treatment plant, that would be a function of the wastewater treatment plant expansion, and that cost would be added to that project.
44,700.
What?
With 44,700 in total.
36,700.
It's 29,100, 7,600, and the 8,000 you're asking for now. Did I read it wrong?
The resolution says 29 and 376.
Aside from the 8,000 that's up above?
Oh, the staff reports, the total amount is
Oh.
8,000.
Yeah, so the 7,000 should be 8,000, so it'd be 20, or 37,000.
Okay, thank you.
So like this is sort of come to
Yeah,
an
so what we-
extra resident.
We should have got that.
So the total request is not 7,600, it's 8,000, to clarify.
So the total would be 8,000 for that part of the project. So again, it's a time and material basis, so it may be less, and not all of this would be incurred at once. There would be initial part to get a basic boundary survey, or to identify the actual parcel that we need, and then once a sale is approved, then the rest of the survey would be done, which would be the majority of it.
Okay. Did you get multiple quotes or bids for this, and MBS is the lowest, or you just went to MBS?
So NBS is the current surveyor for the wastewater treatment plant,
Okay.
and was the lowest on other proposals in San Miguel that we are currently working on.
Okay.
And this can't wait until we know if we get the grants to go forward with the project?
So the survey for the manholes is aside from the treatment plant. It's a separate project.
Okay.
The survey regarding the property north of the treatment plant, that has to go forward whether or not we do anything with the treatment plant.
Okay.
Because we need the other well to prove compliance.
More questions and comments?
This is, yeah. When we had all these sewer lines and everything, video taped and everything, they don't have any records of the depth of the manholes or the depth of the sewer lines?
So they have a general depth, but they don't have, what we're missing is the actual location and the actual elevation. So we have a tape measure depth between the road surface and the invert, but we don't have the physical elevation of either one of those for any of those. So one might be way up here on a hill and it might be 6 feet deep, and this one might be over here, 100 feet down, and it might be 12 feet deep. So that's what this data is going to give us. It's going to give us where this really is in space and where this really is in space, and what we're looking at between them. So that the sewer model can be developed so we can replace sewer lines effectively instead of just replacing whatever they had there before.
Well, if you run a sewer line down a hill, I'll guarantee it's going downhill.
Yeah, but if you have one up here, then you have one right here, and then the next one's slightly up, then you're collecting stuff right here, and that's the problem we have with several of them right now.
All right.
Okay, any other board comment or questions? How about public comment?
Keep the septic tank.
All right. Do we have board direction?
So we have a motion to approve by Director Beatty.
Second.
With the resolution amended, right?
Resolution amended to reflect the correct cost.
To reflect 8,000 instead of 7,600.
Okay, just want to make sure that's what it was. I have a first and second, sorry, it was Beatty, Tony. Okay, sorry about that, it was amended to 8,000. We'll have a vote. Director Davis,
No.
Director Smiley,
Yes.
Director Beatty,
Yes.
Director Green,
Yes.
Director Sangster.
Yes.
Passes 4-1-0 absent. And I'll get that changed, sorry.
Okay, we'll move on to item 1012. Contract with Viborg Sand and Gravel in the amount not to exceed $29,812 for road and berm repairs to Tank Access Road, including associated budget adjustments by resolution 2025-07.
So this request is to approve a contract with Viborg Sand and Gravel to replace approximately 325 feet of the berm and shoulder along the tank access road to the tank on the west side of the freeway, our main water tank. Last year, I replaced part of it under our normal budget. This year, we need to replace 2 more sections that were equally as bad as the first section. We just didn't have funding for it. So the request right now is to replace the 325 feet. This will prevent us from having to replace the whole road for hopefully quite a while. As mentioned in the staff report, in 2018, we developed a plan to replace the road, and at that time, the cost to replace the road was roughly $200,000. And in 2023, I again revisited that, and the cost at that point was $750,000 for the same work. I can only cringe to think what it is right now. But doing minor repairs like this does prevent future failures. That road has washed out in the past due to the similar type failures. So what they'd be doing is replacing the 325 feet, which is 2 different sections, and approximately 10 sinkholes that are forming in the middle. So,
When you're done.
I'm done.
Ma'am? Yep. What do you identify as a sinkhole? I drove up there in my Mazda Miata today, and I made it all the way to the gate just fine. And you guys drive pickup trucks. So I didn't see any sinkholes whatsoever. I'm wondering I didn't even see potholes.
So we have several, approximately 10 different areas that have a crack that is starting to sink. And because we go up there, well, I go up there every week, but they're starting to get deeper and deeper and deeper.
The cracks are.
Well, you have a crack with a depression in the middle. So every time, as more cars.
So water will go in there and.
Yeah, water builds up in there and pushes it down. They're most likely to go for holes that go across there. But there's roughly 10 areas like that. So it's not like a, life or death sinkhole, but that is how the road washed out when I first started here.
Okay.
So we're trying to correct those. There is approximately 500 feet at the end of it next to our gate that is in desperate need to be replaced, but that really does need to be totally overhauled.
Well, that's paved. The hill.
Well, all of it's paved.
Yeah,
sort of.
it is, right. So you're gonna repair it with gravel?
So most of the paving in the last 500 feet is gone. It's returned to its natural state of gravel.
Yes. It's like grindings now.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that also has a berm that needs to be replaced. So either we replace the berm with some sort of design to retain gravel road, or we replace the berm and replace the paving.
So
We don't have funding for that, so that's not part of the discussion really, but
I'm gonna reach real far right here with an idea, a thought. They're gonna move a lot of material at Wellsona. And I contacted the public relations officer by email and asked for the engineer's name that's running the job. And I don't want to reach out to him because it's not my position to do that, but I can offer you up his email address, and if you could email him, he might possibly have to be hauling material a long distance and would rather bring it to San Miguel to get rid of it.
so
I don't know that.
Like grindings? Is that what
No, it would just be whatever they dig up when they dig their tunnel, but it would be good shoulder backing because it's originally from the highway. So it'll be a mixed, bag of material. But if we can get it for free, and all it would take is an email.
if you want to give me his contact, I'd be happy to contact him.
Okay.
And
Would
even
you
if it's
CC
grindings, we would take that too.
Would
But
you CC me on that email to him?
I can.
Okay, well, he'll probably know my name.
So if we were to take that type of material, we would have to stockpile it. We wouldn't be able to directly put it in there because we would have to go through the environmental process to make sure we're not hurting something.
Well, it's gonna be a little bit before they
It's going to be a lot longer before we get an environmental report back.
and it's gonna be a little while before they start digging their tunnel too.
So,
But they're
if you wanna-
already doing dirt work out in the median.
Yeah, if you want to provide his information, I'd be happy to contact him and see what, if anything, is available.
I'll give it to you after the meeting.
Okay.
As of right now, Kelly, it's not hurting anything, correct? As far as
Which part?
the part this is referring to.
So the initial part that we're asking for funding to fix, the berms, it's to a point now where we're going out every time it rains to fill in cracks to make sure that it doesn't erode underneath the road. So it's something that needs to be fixed, relatively urgently. The second half, the 500 feet right against our gate, that has a different set of problems that is also urgently needing to be replaced, but the cost is too high to fix it right now.
Don't try turning around there in a pickup truck.
Well, don't do it after the rain.
I thought I was gonna back off the hill, just turn around again.
Well, if you get down to the bottom, just go to the freeway.
Right.
Any other board comment or questions?
Yeah, I got one. I think I know the spot I know the spot you fixed there last year that,
Right.
Swift did and everything. And that bank is pretty steep off the end. I guess my question is, if you put a culvert under there, so the water doesn't, and wash out more of your road, and I've done this before on really freaking steep slopes, and then cut a culvert in half and get that water down lower instead of it just washing out more of the cliff there. I call that's a cliff.
It's called a tin whistle.
Yeah,
It's a
No, I know.
a round box,
yeah.
and you put them where your shoulders
Yeah.
failing, and bury them. Sometimes you gotta dead man them in with
So none of the affected berms have any sort of drainage, so they are just directing it down to the bottom on the road.
Yeah, well, if the curve's good enough, that'll work too, but
Well, that's the problem, is the berm is not good enough.
When you email this guy, remind him that this was a Caltrans built road that they gave to the county and we ended up inheriting it, and it's a piece of crap. But let him understand that it's an easement, that they created. They moved the tank where it is. And they might be willing to help, you never know.
How is this gonna be funded, Kelly?
So this will be funded through capital fees, so capital reserves.
Okay. All right. Any other board comments or questions? How about public comment? No. Board direction?
I'd like to see us at least send an email out before we make a decision on this and see if they're willing to donate material to us.
So
It might-
donate material to fix the problem right now, or
No,
to
well-
address the second half, which is not part of this?
Oh, I see. Okay. All right. Then we need to go forward with this and then do that.
So we need to do this, regardless of whether we fix the second half.
And will a lot of material fix the other half?
A lot of material would make the road wider, which would make it safer for sure.
Well, see, it's gonna slough down there though.
Yeah, well, that's why I said a
You're
lot of
talking about
material.
tons and tons and tons and tons.
Is this the only quote we've gotten, Kelly?
So we did receive a quote from Swift, which was approximately $10,000 more.
What would you guys like to do?
You'd spend $30,000 on that.
Care to make a motion?
I would like to make a motion, let's move this to the next month's agenda until we can do a little more research on it.
Well, I think what Kelly's saying is, what we're talking about getting dirt donated isn't necessarily gonna fix the existing problem.
No.
Is that my correct in saying that?
So what I'm asking for is basically funding to repair the asphalt in the beginning part of the road prior to the house. And then the second part, closer to our gate, is where we would need more fill and
Right.
more
Yeah.
more
See,
work.
that's doable.
So that would have to come back because that's a much bigger project. But in order to preserve the front half of the road and prevent future erosion, we need to fix the berms.
They're gonna pave that hill for 29 grand.
No,
They're basically replacing the berm and paving a 3 foot or 2 or 3 foot wide patch on the edge to place the berm.
I see.
but it'll be asphalt, but it'll be like a curve, right?
It'll look just like the other side that you looked at.
Yeah. Curve.
So they'll run the water to,
It'll go down to 10th Street
yeah,
where it was originally designed to go.
right.
And do they guarantee, I mean, there's no guarantee, obviously, right?
Well, they'll guarantee their work, but they're not
Yeah.
gonna guarantee
Mother Nature.
Yeah.
It's a warranty on the work.
against workmanship.
Yeah.
We
I
do
guess
have
if
a
the
motion
asphalt falls apart, but
we do have a motion on the floor by Director Davis to move this to next month. Do we have a second?
do you wanna maintain that motion?
Yeah, I wanna maintain it.
Okay.
Even though it's not the same thing?
Well, can,
Well,
Because we're not bringing the second half of the road back.
Yeah.
I understand that, but because if the weatherman's right, you're gonna be getting a lot of rain here in the next week and a half, 2 weeks, and you're not gonna be able to do anything anyway.
Well, it still has to be scheduled anyway, but if you wait another month, then you have to wait another month to schedule something.
so do we have a second?
What would be your intent for bringing it back? Is there more information that you want, or?
Yeah, I wanna get some information from you, and I wanna go.
Okay, I wanna look at it. Okay, well, what I was suggesting isn't gonna fix the problem.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
It'll fix up on top. But it's
Right.
gonna take so much material that
Well, I understand that, but
we'd be at their mercy if they decided to truck it up there rather than, I mean, they're probably gonna store it out in that field for a while.
well, I'm not gonna, don't look like I'm gonna get second anyway, so it don't matter.
Well, we just need to know if you want to move forward, because we have to continue with the motion. So either we need to search for a second.
Yeah, okay, I'll
or
move
you can-
forward. You did-
Or you can retract it.
No, we'll move forward.
We
Do I have
have
a second?
we have a second to table this until next month.
Sorry, Mr. Director Davis.
I'll second it.
Okay, so we have a first by Director Davis and a second by Director Green to table this until next month.
Okay, so vote. Director Davis?
Yes?
Director Smiley?
No.
Director Green?
I haven't decided yet.
Director Beatty?
No.
Director Green?
Hmm,
Yeah, that's how that goes.
yeah,
Yeah.
no.
Director Sangster? Okay.
Didn't mean to touch you.
140.
Another motion.
Any other motions?
I'll motion to approve.
I'll second.
Finally, I have a motion on the floor to authorize the general manager to execute an agreement with Viborg and Sand and Gravel for repairs to the .65 million gallon tank road, including budget adjustments. Seconded by Director Sangster. We'll have a vote.
Tank
On
access.
Smiley, Director Smiley. Sorry, all the S's. Director Davis.
Yes.
Director Smiley.
Yes.
Director Beatty.
Yes.
Beatty, sorry, it's getting late. Director Green.
No.
Director Sang.
No.
Passes 3-0. Okay. See if I made my page up.
Okay.
13.
Can we can look at that as far as what Director Green referred to as to the Caltrans,
Yeah, he can provide that information. I can
I'll
contact
just
him.
email it to them.
Yeah,
I think it would-
I'll talk to him and see.
CC me on your email.
Okay, so
I'll tell you.
item 1013, change order number 1 with Specialty Construction, Inc. in an amount not to exceed $21,000 by resolution 2025-08.
So the change order number 1 is to address conflicts at both ends of the water line that weren't previously known. There's, the change order is attached, but there is a drawing of each of them, each of the conflicts that actually weren't supposed to be attached, but that was my mistake. But you can kind of see what they're looking at. Essentially what happens is at the south end at San Luis Obispo, the power lines are in the way at the same elevation as the current line, so it needs to drop down below that, which is not anticipated. And at the north end, we have a similar issue with the phone line, where the phone line is in the way, and the line needs to be dropped down to go under the phone line to get back to the water line. The estimated cost based on their bid set is just under $21,000 for both ends. So the request at this point is to approve the change order at a cost of $21,000.
Is this grant funded?
So this is not grant funded. This is outside of the grant and will be by capital funds.
Not to exceed 21,000?
Yes.
Okay.
We have no choice.
Don't really have a choice, but
Yeah, we don't.
either they do it or I do it.
All right.
Okay, any other board comments or questions? Board comments or questions? Public comment? No.
I have a motion.
You have a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve.
Second.
I have a motion on the floor by Director Green, authorize the general manager to execute change order number 1 with specialty construction in an amount not to exceed $21,000. Second by Director Sangster. We'll have a vote. Director Green?
Yes.
Director Davis?
Yes.
Director Smiley?
Yes.
Director Beatty?
Yes.
Director Sangster?
Yes.
Passes 5-0, no absence.
Okay, that concludes our regular meeting. We will adjourn now to the GSA
At?
at 9:49.
Thank you.
So this item is a continuation of previous meetings. There is a revision that's provided in your board packet. Aside from the revision that's in the board packet, there is another revision to one section, section 9.1 regarding liability and indemnification, in which it changes that the site constitution, pardon me?
Do they need to get there? Do you know what page it's on?
It's on page 15 of the agreement. It's on, no, I just have the agreement.
Here, I'll tell you.
While we're waiting,
Is it 15?
it's 15 of the agreement.
401. Page 401 of the packet.
Nothing else to do.
It's really simple. The city of Paso hasn't approved this yet, and they brought up that that the liability, and this is a late added provision actually, after we talked about it, but that the liability needs to be the same as what was agreed to under the PBCC MOU, so it would be equal to your percentage. If someone sued, you would contribute your percentage. Each member would contribute that percentage, which I think for the district is 3% or something like that. Whereas the county or someone had changed it or had updated it so that it would be an equal contribution amongst all members. And the city of Paso said, we're not going to do that. And we chimed in and said, yeah, we're not going to do that either. The city of Paso is scheduled to consider this on the 4th, March 4th. Unknown how that will go.
Okay. So the current version in the packet now is not the most recent.
So other than the one line on section 9.1, the rest of those revisions are the current revisions. So
Can I say something real quick? I sent you an email, but you might not have seen it. 'cause
I responded to it.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
So did you see what did you take?
That's what we're talking about right now.
now. Revised one?
yeah, that's what we're talking about right now.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, I couldn't hear it. So that's the one that's dated, 2/21 or something?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. So what you guys have in your packet isn't the one they're talking about now. And,
So in order not to make it more confusing, I didn't replace it in the packet because this one from 2/21 doesn't have all the other revisions that you have from 2/3. So the packet has the revisions from 2/3, which is all the ones that you guys actually need to look at. This is just one line on section 9.1
Okay.
stating that in accordance with the percentages set forth in section 7.1 of this agreement, in connection with members' contributions instead of an equal share.
3% instead of 1/5.
That's what this says?
Yes, well, no, the revision says that. That says equal share.
20%.
The additional revision that came out last minute was 3%.
So we're waiting to bring that back?
This is just its current form.
Yeah, but this is 5% or is 3%? Because I thought I saw 3%.
So wait,
So it's 3%. 3%. Nothing is 5%.
Or 1/5, I'm sorry.
20% or
Right.
3%. Now it's been,
But this one's 3%.
What you
No.
have in your hand is 20%.
Why are we talking about it?
Because a change came out after the agenda was posted, and we're letting you know. But it's not 20%. It just, frankly, to be completely candid, I think this just shows how not ready this is. There continues to be changes between each of the board meetings. They keep asking the public entities to agree to something that is still continually changing. And so, we're just giving you an update, but my advice is the same as always. Let's see what this does.
Is this information only? Is it?
No?
You could provide direction, or you could approve it, it's on there in case you wanted to, or you can reject it and say, don't bring this back anymore.
So what I would suggest is, if the board is willing to move forward with it, then we get direction to move forward with it, but not approval to sign it until we have a final version. Because it seems like it's changing every time somebody looks at it.
Well, then it needs to come back to us with the final.
Right.
Because if it's not just, it could be changing a lot of different things.
yeah, my interest would be, one, what does Paso Robles decide to do with it? And is their amended indemnification language and liability language going to be accepted by the other GSAs that would be a part of it? And I wouldn't really entertain even asking for a vote from these gentlemen until there's a final version. Ever-changing contracts too,
Yeah.
yeah. Does anybody have a comment?